Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show.
It's about to get real, well, you know the deal. You won't have to guess how either of them feel. Bringing up the things you don't think to know. Never knowing where the conversation will go. Just a little more than anything goes. It's a Christian and Daniel Show.
Hola. Hi, everyone. I'm Christian.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is the Christian
and Daniel Show. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you for being part of the show. If you're watching other shows, make sure that you like and share this with your friends. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor. Scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And you'll be notified every time we have a new show on the page. And we have shows every day of the week, so you can join us every day of the week. How you doing, babe?
I'm doing good. You know, I wanted to give some thanks. Wanted to say thank you to our artistic director, Checo Doria, and our musical director, Kai Kalama, and our
artistic director,
our stage manager.
Sorry.
Hola, Daniel. Está aquí or está acá?
Gabe Leo. And hello, cuz. How's it going?
I'm yours.
We do love the theme song. It's
yeah, and that is Kai Kalama. I think what's so amazing is he's such a wonderful guy, and he totally and talented. Obviously, he like totally captured our energy and our spirit in that song. Like it is hard. Like it was just hard to believe when we first heard it. We're like, oh my gosh, that is the perfect theme song. Like he did it. He's amazing.
He was just here this afternoon. We were just visiting today. So.
Oh, was he, Daniel?
He was, because he's my friend. We're friends. Him and I. Just him and
I believe you completely.
Today, we're excited because we have a guest co-host, and he's been in the audience before and commented, and we're so excited to have him on. We're back. Oh, we are back to Donde Está Christian?
Donde está Christian?
Christian.
Where is Christian?
Leo Garcia. Hello, Leo.
Christian aquí. Christian acá.
Are you playing peekaboo with Leo? Yeah.
Christian, that is a funny bit. Órale, ¿dónde? Allí delante. That's where he is. Straight ahead.
Exactly. Exactamundo.
Exactamente.
This is a very awkward version of Dory.
Hola, Daniel y Cristian. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, mi nombre es Cristian. ¿Cómo se llama?
You know, those moments where you go, why did I put these two people together? This is one of those moments of why did I put those two people together? How are you doing, Leo? How are things out there with you?
Things are great with me. I mean, I'm excited to be on your show. You know, I was thinking, Daniel, if they put Christian, your name first, you know, you get a whole new audience. Christian Daniel Show. You know, they'd start to think it was another kind of show. The Christian Show.
Well, you're not hearing
the Christian Show. You know, we probably get a lot more viewers because they think it was a different type of show.
Yeah, you get a lot more viewers.
And they'd be in for a shock and surprise.
I always said I need to develop the Christian Fund. Make a GoFundMe campaign, just call it the Christian Fund. Oh, I'd be a multimillionaire overnight.
That's right. Run for office.
Vote for Christian. Be a good voter for Christian.
So, what have you been up to during the lockdown, Leo? Other than
my gosh! Well, I wrote a screenplay. That was a play, so that's something I just gave the drafts to the director and designers. So we're going to be shooting it in December. So it's an ultra low budget film, SAG, and it's great. It's called Earth, or The Monster of Tierra Maria, and it takes place in 1911 New Mexico. It's I think a great story. It has a great pedigree. I've been working on it for some time. I was a resident playwright for years in New York City with a great mentor, Maria Irene Fornes. So she was the one I was working with when I first wrote the play. It was a play. And then we were going to produce it a couple of times. It's been funded by the NEA. Luis Alfaro and Diane Rodriguez had it as part of their Latino theater initiative at the Mark Taper Forum. It's had readings at the Tiffany Theaters on Sunset. And we had a couple of NEA grants, but eventually Irene was going to direct it, my mentor, and then she got ill. So that put it on the on the back burner. So it just got funded by the National Performance Network. So that's what I've been doing, just trying to get that script in place and other things, but that's my job thing.
I'm sorry. I think someone's at one of my doors. I'll be right back. I'm going to put you all on. Stop cam.
Well, if you know any more Little Mexicans, just let me know.
It's got 6 characters, so there's not like a cast of thousands. It has a doctor, has a mad doctor. It has a very large man who's like 6'8". It has the woman. She's a beautiful, New Mexican woman. It has her husband who falls off a roof, becomes paralyzed. It has a native, a Tewan native, and it has a native boy. And it has these 2 shepherds, Juan Pablo and Leandro. And they lived together in 1911 as shepherds.
Oh, wow. Well,
So
I'm excited to hear once you get rolling and stuff. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. That's pretty huge. Especially to be able to get something at to that point during lockdown. That's pretty cool.
Well, you have a lot of time to, it just needed work. Yeah. And so I did that. What'd you do at lockdown?
We did this. We talked a lot.
We also put together our own production company, and we incorporated May 13th, 2021 is the official incorporation of Lilmesican Productions Incorporated.
Yeah, I love that title.
That's been a lot of work, a long work in progress. And oh my Lord, I'm still jumping through all the bureaucratic hoops you have to jump through. My Lord, you have to get everyone's permission to be you, just to exist.
Yeah. So it's an LLC. Is that what it is?
No, it's actually an S corp. It's an actual corporation.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote a little book.
I love that book.
I wrote a book.
Yeah.
For children. Yeah. Who did the artwork, by the way?
The artwork is done by a mother and daughter, Jennifer and Vivian Gatch. They're actually my editors and publisher's sister and niece. The girl that did most of the background illustrations is 11 years old. She did that for me.
Wow. So it's a children's book that was illustrated by a child. I love it.
Yeah. So we were really excited to be able to get her and the mom. It was really interesting because in the first meeting with them over the first draft, they were both in the Zoom meeting. And I was kind of like, why are they both here? And they showed me what is now the blue page, the blue chakra. And I was like, oh, I love that. I'm like, that's awesome. It totally represents what I want. And she started giggling, the daughter, and I was like, okay. And the mom, Jennifer's like, well, she drew the background. And I was like, whoa. And she's like, she wants to know if she can have the contract. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, go for it. So it's a mother and daughter that drew the book. It's really amazing. They did a great job. I'm really proud of it. So.
And you're
wondering about the book. Of course, I'm going to talk about it before we leave. So I will show you the book when we're done.
By the way, I saw Laura waved hello. She's a friend of ours. And she broke some news today.
Oh.
She had a bar show up on her little test she did.
What? Is that true, Laura? I haven't been on.
I mean, she announced it it was on Facebook, so I assume it's not a secret. So we do that. Sometimes, Leo, we've outed people when they didn't want to be outed. Not about
not
about their
that
lifestyle.
we don't tell us if you don't want us to tell.
But no, and then Grandma also said, "Oh, there you go.
Baby
Oh, she's having a baby.
Yes, congratulations, Laura.
Congratulations, baby number 3.
Yay!
So congrats.
Congrats on that. She already has a beautiful daughter and a gorgeous son. He's going to be so wonderful.
So does that mean we get him now? Is that for us?
Yeah, we get the son now. That was the deal.
We get him, right? Since
yeah, so they stick.
Have another one, so why not? Why be greedy about it?
Are you guys? Do you guys live together?
No.
Do we? No.
Well, how are you going to take care of the baby? You're gonna have to move in together.
When the baby's little, Daniel connects with babies really well. So he gets the baby when it's little and diaper changing. And then when the baby's like in like beginning grammar school, about 5, I really connect with the kids.
Oh.
I taught kindergarten actually for a while. So I get the kid from then on. And I already raised the kid from in that time. I helped.
So Christian doesn't like teenagers, so then I can get him back.
Then he can get him back for a teenager. Yes.
And then we'll 18 years old, and we'll send him off.
Yeah, then we're like, cheers, adios.
You're big enough, boy. Go there.
Go into the world, son.
But I just found out today I had a scan this morning, and they did some work.
Oh,
I found out this morning that I have hormonal problems, and I'm getting boobs. So I'm very torn apart by that right now. That is my stress.
It's funny. We were at brunch for an hour or two. We love you, Laura. Laura is, if there's a mama bear in this world, Laura's a mama bear. You do not want to poke that bear ever, particularly with her kids. But Daniel and I were at brunch, and he's going over. He goes, "Oh, the results of my scan today are already here." So he's looking at them on his phone, and then he says gynoplasticemia, or I can't remember the right word, but basically it's basically man boobs. It was the scientific term for it, and they said minor. They didn't say like, "Oh my Lord, this man has D cups." It was like patient exhibits minor gynoplastemia or whatever the word is for it. And he didn't know what it meant. So I looked it up because I know that word sounds familiar. And I look and it says moobs and boobs.
I'm growing boobs. And
but Daniel, people pay a lot of money for that. People pay a lot of money for boobs.
Hello.
So enjoy.
Yeah. I used to have, when I was at my top weight, I had like quadruple E breasts. And now at this much lower weight, almost 300 pounds less, I have like a very nice set of probably B cups. And I've never had never in my life did I have a complaint from anyone I was with. 2, I don't, for me, no big deal. This is what I have now is manageable. I'm all, they're beautiful. They're me. It's just how I am. It's how I look. It's a wreckage of past a little bit too. And life goes on.
So there you go, folks. I am a boob man.
And he's growing a couple himself, apparently.
That's how much of a boob man I am. I'm a boob. We have, which is a new segment here on the Christian Dan Show. We have our TikTok video of the week, and this is something that Christian found and sent over.
I'm sorry, did you say something? I cannot hear. It is too hot out here. I don't know which one of y'all pissed off the devil, but I am ready to sacrifice somebody. My God, I'm about to croak. Darnell, get inside. It is hotter than a witch's left titty out here. My God, it is hot. It is hot out here. How do y'all function like this?
I love that he's dead at the end. I just love that.
You're trying to convince Jesse to
He's a very popular boy in Alabama.
Oh, do you know? Were you familiar with him?
Well, no, he just, he has that feel about him. Everybody loves him in the town. Because he brings so much joy,
Oh yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious.
He's a ginger, which is really sweet, and he knows how to dress. His hair matches his clothing. Did you notice?
You're absolutely right. He was coordinated, and I'm all. That's how you know. That's how you know what side his bread is buttered on.
But that was definitely a southern part of the country, I think.
What is one thing that completely sets you off? Is there one thing in your life that if it just happens, you're like, that's it, I'm there?
Like for him, it was heat. For me, it's humidity and heat.
For me, I'd have to think about it. I'm so zen, I have such a centered, good feeling about everything that nothing really gets me pissed off anymore. But, I've been known to, get pissed. But let me see. I'd fall right into the heat and just enjoy it. So I'll think about it. I'll think about what gets you pissed off, Daniel.
For me, well, before I go, for everybody,
it's always better to ask Daniel what doesn't get him.
It does not. No, that's not true. For everybody in the audience, what sets you off? Your sister.
Your sister. That's always a good one.
Okay, hold on. So this happened,
if you like, hon, I can name a few today that I.
This happened last night. This happened last night because we were at the pageant of the master last night.
I know what it is.
And there is one thing that will just ruffle my feathers is when you're standing in line or in a group and somebody has to just walk right in front of you, like cut you in line or walk in front, like when there's space to walk behind you or around you, but they have to purposely walk right in front of you. Oh, I don't care who you are. That is just annoying to me. And then they don't say excuse me till they're right in front of you. And
they don't say excuse me at all. No one. Millennials and younger generations do not say excuse me. It's like we forgot as Gen Xers to teach them those words, because the ladies, all the women who walked up to cut in front of us were like, we need to get through. Oh, we just want to go through here. And I was like, I'm not going to say the word that came to mind, but I'm all woman.
Oh my God. Okay, of course. Leave it to my sister to show up and completely throw me.
Oh. Hermana, you're exactly right.
It's true. I don't like people getting food off my plate.
If you ask him, he gets mad. Like, no.
People cutting in line, they're drive-through. Yeah, like and they're really not. Yes, totally. Am I just junky?
No. It must mean something. I'm old. I don't understand that one.
Is Nancy your sister, Daniel?
Yeah. My sister would show up and throw me like when I'm like, no, one thing. She's like, nope, you got several. Yeah, I do not.
You got a lot more.
I do not like I will buy you your own food. Like if you want, I will buy you your plate. But don't ask me to share. I'm very particular about that.
Well, and then this morning we're cutting line.
Oh
yes. No, you're not. That upsets most people. We were driving down Mermaid. It was a little tiny street by Daniel's house, and this lady was parked kind of partially blocking the lane, dropping off her kids at a little restaurant that's right there. And Daniel's like, I think the only reason he didn't honk is because I was in the car and he knows I'd say something. And because I saw his hand move and then he put it down. But he's all like, hello, in the car, as if the lady could hear him. And I'm like, honey, just take a deep breath. Who cares? He's all, well, she's blocking part of the street. I'm like, who cares? We can go around her. It's fine. And he's like, no. He goes, no. This is my town. This is where I live. You don't block a street that I live on. And I'm like, oh, okay, Mr. Mayor. When did you become mayor of
I believe in manners. I believe people should have manners.
No, he does not like sharing. You were right, sis.
But I'll cook for you. I will buy you.
You will.
Like I will.
But you will not share.
I just don't. well, you like remember? Okay, so there was one time, and I'll out myself now that everybody's throwing me out there. There was one time an old friend of ours. We were at a restaurant having tacos.
Oh, Lordy.
I like my Mexican Coke, and I don't share that either. And I got up to get some more salsa or something, and she had poured from my Coke into her glass, and I was not having it.
Even Leo's like,
So I went and got another Coke. Yeah, she's like, no, I just wanted to sip. I'm like, no, you can have it now. Like, I don't know.
And understand, I was there, and our friend Martha was there too. And when we watched this woman do this with his Coke, we both looked at each other because we know him, and we're both like this. We're like, oh no, this is gonna be bad.
Well, I mean, you spent $3 on that Mexican Coke too. My God.
I know, and just to pour some in your glass.
You don't touch a man's horse. You don't touch a man's woman. You don't touch his Coke.
Yes, the man, another man's woman is really going to be anyone's concern with you, Dan.
I'm like, yeah, I think
Are you playing up to our cisgender straight audience?
Yes, I know. I'm pretending there for a minute. So how do you stay?
How do you get Zen? How are you?
Oh my God! I spend thousands of dollars on therapy. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Listen, in the beginning, I everything was driving me crazy, and then when I repressed it, I had a relationship with the floor. I mean, I couldn't get up off the floor for a long time. So, and then I went to see a therapist. But you have to be careful when you go and see a therapist, because you want to be certain that you know who's getting into your brain, because you do not want them touching things that they shouldn't touch or that they don't know how to touch. And so I learned a lot. Like I moved out of the cognitive idea where you change a thought and then everything is Zen, but because that's bullshit. That you can't just change a thought. You can for a moment and it kind of feels good, but it never goes away. So I switched over to this whole Jungian, Carl Jung's theories of psychotherapy. So I did a lot of that kind of work, and that's what saved my life, man.
Wow.
So and then all these triggers just went away. I mean, there's still things that get me angry, but it doesn't. I'm not possessed or consumed by any sort of rage or anger.
That's good. That is, to me, that is a better way to live. Like I used to drive really, really angry and really aggressively and really fast. And I made a vow I never make New Year's resolutions, but this one year, 2017, I said for 2016, at the end of 2016, I said for the rest of my life, I am done being in a hurry on the highway. I'm done being angry at people doing their dumb driving stuff, whatever it is they do. And I'm also done speeding and yelling at people in the car, because the only person I'm hurting is myself. And it just, something clicked in me that year. And I'm one of those slow drivers, but I drive on the right side of the road. I don't drive in the fast lane. And I don't care what people do around me. I can care less as long as they don't hit me. That has been an issue, but that's not me. It's not my fault, but it stinks to get hit. But otherwise, I've found a great deal of, I've found true Zen in my driving. Like nothing gets on my nerves hardly. Now, you see something dumb, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, like it scares me sometimes, like seeing what people do. I used to be one of them, so I guess it's like now I'm on the other side of the coin where I'm like, ooh, that driver just about killed themselves trying to get out of that exit lane when they knew where they were going, or they're trying to pass people in the shoulder. So, but
it took years, and there was a lot of carnage behind me, and I'm single, and I think a lot of it because I had some really great relationships that they stood in for all that angst, and they didn't in the end put up with it, so maybe now that the pandemic is, well, it's actually resurging, isn't it? But when I get back out in the world, maybe I'll find, I really admire that you guys have this relationship, going. How long have you guys been together?
9 years.
Oh my God.
But we've been through a lot, and
Yeah.
one of the few people that I know that I can, because I don't hold on to, like you were talking just now. I don't hold on to the like. I wave my fist, get out of the road, and then I'm like la 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 la, music, la la la. I do not hold on to my anger. Right now, you're making me angry, but
honey, don't.
I'll shut you down in a minute.
We're talking about lightning striking someone.
We've been through a lot together too, so we
Yeah.
learned to laugh about things, and like we've seen
Yeah.
a tragedy that we're just like, oh well, life is such. And but before Laura, I want to let me show. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for the kind words. That's very sweet of you.
Aw. You know, and let's not play. Daniel and I both are in therapy too. We both working through our own issues too. So it's not like it's, you know, we just complete each other. We don't do that. We don't play that game.
Nacho. Nacho,
We are
so
well.
sweet of you.
We are all well.
Yes, we are all. Y'all. Get in
Y'all.
the section, y'all.
Y'all.
But yeah,
I see. Our friend Nurse Misty was fiddling with y'all.
if you're over 21 and you don't have a little bit of baggage and a little bit of drama in your life, like have you really lived? Like I feel like, well, at least for me, by the time I was 21, I had so much baggage already under me, and so much drama happening.
I had no idea what was going on when I was 21. I was having a ball, man. It didn't matter. It wasn't until my 30s or maybe early 40s that started like realizing something has got to change.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was a
Before we
bad.
continue that conversation. Let me just remind everybody you're watching the Christian and Daniel Show. Thank you for everybody watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Our guest today is Mr. Leo Garcia, and we're talking baggage, damages, and staying
Life.
young.
Life.
Yeah.
Real life. Not this fake crap that TV wants to spoon feed us and the media and no. Just kidding. But no, you know, it's I think it's so real. And I was raised by an older generation of parent. And I was always taught like seeking therapy is a weakness, like seeking help for your mental conditions is a weakness. But yet, you know, if you want to drink yourself to blackouts every night, that's okay. That's still okay. But we would much rather you do that than go see a therapist. And I'm like, no. One, I don't like drinking. Two, I am so much better. I'm a better person. I'm living a higher, or I don't know how to phrase that right. I'm living a better life because I've asked for help with my life and dealing with some of my past. And it's really great. Like, I recommend it to anyone. I recommend it to my sponsees. I'm in a program of recovery. I'm 17 years in recovery, 16 years sober, or what would be equivalent of sobriety. And I'm grateful for that. Like, that helps, but the therapy puts me over the edge and helps me to just be a better human being.
Yeah.
And Nacho's right. Every once in a while, you have to
Sandwich.
Yeah, my addiction was love. I had to always be in a relationship. And then when it was over, I was out of it. I couldn't handle it, man. I was ready to die every time.
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't happen anymore. But for a while, that was the addiction. Love, the playing field. That was it.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting you say that because a lot of people don't consider that
Yeah.
a problem. You know what I mean? Like it's
like people will say, how do you get addicted to being in love? And I'm like, very easily.
But you get jealous, you rage, you kick their ass sometimes. You know, and I don't mean physically, but there's a lot of ways. You know, you yell and scream, you throw things, you go and find out where they were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who were they with?
And I just want to tell any of you kids out there right now, Leo is talking about the old-fashioned way of finding where they are and where they've been. We're not talking about like, oh, I looked on my phone and typed in find his iPhone and it's giving me a map, a geo map of where he's been. We're talking about you had to go out and do some real research to find out where this person's been, or you listen to your friends who have your good friends have their ears to the ground. They're all, "Ooh, we saw him here last week," or "Ooh, he was here 10 minutes ago, drinking up a storm, talking with," like, "Ooh, okay." I'll be there in 10 minutes.
But Mike is right too. Like, to receive help is not a weakness; it's a strength. It takes.
What? Oh yeah, that was a great thing. But mostly it was untrue. What was in my mind wasn't really going on.
Yeah.
That was the part that I had to clean up.
Yeah. And it takes courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to, look at your own character flaws and be willing to do something about it.
I never thought about it as courage. I just wanted to stop feeling bad,
Yeah, I love that.
I never think of courage. I was like, maybe in the end, after I write my story, it'll be about courage. But in the midst of it, it's just like, stop. I don't want to feel like this.
Oh, yeah.
That's very similar to me when I went to rehab. People were like, "Oh, so good for you. You're so great." I'm like, I'm just tired of feeling crappy all the time and looking over my shoulder and stressed. And I still to this date say best summer of my life. It was the best summer camp going to rehab. It completely changed the way I saw myself. And isn't that in the end like the important part? It's not so much how the people look at you, it's how you look at yourself and be proud of who you are for yourself, right?
Well, sure, absolutely.
And you got to love yourself. You got to learn to love yourself the way you are and accept yourself. Because where are you going to go? It's like being on a map. If you don't know where you're starting, you can't get anywhere. If you don't know where you're at, how are you going to get somewhere else to another destination? You got to love yourself and accept yourself.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that you carry with you, though, comes from your early upbringing, and you have to figure that out because, because your parents aren't always knowing what's right. You know what I mean? Listen, since I was a kid, I knew I had to get out of the house when I was 18. That was the thing. When you're 18, you're on your own. And that's what I knew, and I had a good life with my family, but when I was 18 and out of the home, I had to start all over again. I didn't really have any, it was exciting at the same time. I had no problems getting out of the house at 18 and doing everything I could. And boy, it was fantastic.
I love it.
I didn't have
to. I have great memories for this time.
But to me, this is really a sign of like maturity and getting to a point in your life where you can sit in a group and talk about those moments and go, I can laugh about it now. Like I can look at my past and go, yeah, like I did some stuff, and now I don't do that stuff. At the giggles.
Yeah.
My 20s were spent. Oh my God, I was in the circuit scene. We were running around to all these parties in Montreal and Quebec and Mexico and Miami, the white party in Miami, and we were being these. I call it what's that old song? The glamorous touch.
I always wanted to go. I just never thought I was glamorous or cute enough. You know what I mean? I was skinny.
I certainly don't think. Yeah, you see, I think you're in a better place than I was. I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't. I was also drugging and drinking and everything else, so I wasn't heavy as I would get later on. But I think a lot of it came down to confidence. I've never thought like, I did when I was in high school as a teenager. And then once I hit my 20s and I was in that scene, I suddenly started to believe, probably because of the drugs and everything, that I was so beautiful and I'm so handsome and I'm desirable. And if you don't desire me, you must be stupid or blind. And that was kind of like my thought process during that time. And I guess that attitude, that it played off as confidence, because people told me, "Oh, you're so confident." And I'm like, I think of myself, like I even look back and go, I was not confident. But I came off that way. But I also had a lot of help. I wasn't necessarily sober going through all that either, which is why I am today. It's just why today I don't get to do anything like that, and have no desire to go back to that lifestyle. But
I experimented with drugs, but they scared me because my mind would just go too crazy, and I realized either I'm going to die or this is going to drive me insane. So I kind of stayed away. I use my body as sort of a barometer of like how I can survive to live, not die.
that's a good one.
Yeah, and it kind of tells me immediately, you're going to continue to do this. You're going to die.
You won't make it. It's like your body's like, you're not going to make it. We're not going to make it here together.
Heart is beating really fast right now. You can't breathe, and you're seeing a whole other universe. So you better cool it.
Yeah. Interdimensional travel is not recommended.
Fly off that building, and it's going to land, and you're going to not get up.
Yeah. And other people won't like what they see.
And then it's a mess, and then somebody has to clean it up, and then that's where the Catholic guilt comes in.
Oh my gosh, yes. That threw me back in the closet when I was 16. I didn't come out till I was 20, 22, 23.
Nothing could have thrown me in the closet, man. There was nothing that could do it.
I wish it hadn't, but I met this great guy when I was 16, and he was 16 also. And we had a date, what would be called today a Netflix and chill. And he's from Australia, and his family had just moved to Northern California where I grew up. And he totally was like down to be in like a relationship. Like he was amazingly like, let's be in a relationship. We're dating now. And it scared me to death. Like my Catholic guilt came up, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. No, I can't have a boyfriend. Nah. And I totally like ghosted him. Or old days, I just cut off communication, which was way easier than it is today. But by today's terms, I totally ghosted him. And part of me, I have to admit, part of me still feels like I wish I could have found him. And I would apologize for that. That would be one of the old parts, little leaves on the street I'd love to be able to clean up. I wrote a letter to him. I don't know where he's at. I just wrote a letter in my recovery to him to let go of that. And I don't feel guilt over it anymore. But I still wish I could have delivered it in person, because he was a good person. He's a really good guy. And he really liked me. And I couldn't accept that because I didn't like myself much back then.
I had the same boyfriend from 9th grade to 12th grade. And then when I came back from college to get in touch with him, because he was fantastic. He lived across the street from me, and he had a little basement apartment. He lived in a house where his room was in the basement, and I lived in a house where I was on the second floor with a balcony. I could climb out the balcony and go to his back door, get in, and we'd be together. But when he got when I got out of college, I called him, and he said, that was then, this is now. Because he ended up being a straight guy. But for 3-4 years, he was my boyfriend. So it was kind of that was like interesting. That was then, this is now, Yeah.
So, that's an interesting experience. Like,
he was very cool, he and there was nothing we could do. He's married now. I actually reached out to him again many years later, decades later, through Facebook, and he didn't respond.
That sounds like a skeleton in the closet.
But he used to put his hands on my waist and feel the waist all the way up to the hips and then back to the waist, and he just loved touching that, and the way he would touch me was just like so special.
Yeah.
He was a really fun kid. We'd camp out at nights and sleep in tents, and he'd go, I'd spend the night. It was just that young kind of.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's really cool. Like, it's an interesting experience. And, I know generation, there's a lot of differences, because now, there's gender, there's fluidity and pansexual, fluid, bisexual, everything. There's so many new labels. I don't even know all of them, but they're giving today people are, men and women, particularly in the younger generations, are able to just be what they want to be and be with whoever they want to be. And they seem to be the younger generation is more comfortable with that. They're like, we don't care, which is what I've always wanted. I just wanted people to stop caring about who I want to love and who I'll be in love with and who I spend my life with. Like, I want you not to care because it's none of your damn business to begin with. And why I don't go around saying, oh, your wife is not a good match for you. She's garbage. You need to find someone else. You know, come on. Yet that people feel free to tell me their opinion of my relationship, and I'm all, didn't ask, don't care, none of my business. Click dial tone, goodbye.
All right, so we're getting to that point now to share our picks of the week. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
All right.
Hey, everyone. Station identification. This is the Christian and Daniel Show. I'm Christian. And my pick of the week is the movie Infinite. It is a movie starring Mark Wahlberg, who still looks delicious after all these years, and children and wife. I mean, he's pretty. I'm all good job, man. But the whole movie's about his character thinks he's schizophrenic. He's on clozapine. Funny, we're talking all this mental stuff, and he basically has been told, you're crazy, you're schizophrenic, and you need to take these drugs for the rest of your life. When what really has happened is he has a soul that is reincarnated, and that soul has the ability to remember all of its past lives. So when it goes into a new body, that person has the knowledge of all of those past lives, and they call these souls infinites. And there's another name for the negative faction and all that. But basically, it's about him realizing he's not crazy, that he just is an infinite, and he has all of these past lives that have been his memories that he was denying. And as soon as interestingly enough, as our conversations went today, as soon as he like really accepts himself and he connects to those memories and accepts them and embraces them, he becomes this like really balanced, terrific guy who basically, as in any movie, saves the world in the end. But it's very interesting. And the ending is more twisted than that. I'm not giving away anything much, but it was pretty interesting. And it actually dealt with some pretty deeply spiritual stuff, which was unexpected in an action film. Thanks.
Yes, I'm Leo Garcia, and I watch television all the time, and so there are many shows that I could choose, but I really felt something very special this year. Every time the Olympics come on, so Tokyo 2020, I think that's what they are, but it's actually 2021 Olympics is my pick. It came just barely over the select committee hearings and the officer's testimony that I heard this yesterday. But Tokyo Olympics are very exciting to me because I'm very visual. So I love the gymnastics, both men and women. And there's a lot of drama, as you know, around the Olympics this year. Simone Biles decided not to compete because of some stress that she was feeling and some for her mental health. So that's a really big deal, I think. If you think about it personally, a woman who's been working her whole life for this moment, and then in the moment she decides that she's going to sit it out. That's a big deal. Also, the heat in Tokyo is amazing. It's very humid there. I know that there were some emergencies, maybe in tennis, where people were taken to the hospital and someone said, I could die if I have to play on this court. So that's interesting. And the COVID situation is a challenge for those folks. I know that one of the swimmers from Britain recovered from COVID twice and won, I believe, a gold medal. So there's a lot of stories in the Tokyo Olympics.
Awesome. My pick of the week is a cartoon. It's an animated series called Super Drag on Netflix. It's actually a Brazilian animation, I believe, that has been translated to English, and you can find it on Netflix. It's these three gay guys who have superpowers, and whenever trouble comes, they turn into drag queens and fight the enemies and the evil people, and that's how they say, well, it's really cute. And they use a lot of the drag queens from RuPaul's drag show. So if you watch RuPaul's, then you will recognize some of the voices on the show. But it's really just simple watching. Every episode's about 20 minutes long, 23 minutes long. Check it out. It's about 6 episodes long, but it's just something to take your mind off of the problems around you. So go check it out. Super Drag on Netflix. It's again super cute. And here they are back again. Hello again.
I watch everything drag, so I'm gonna have to see that. The Wow Network is one of my favorites. It's only $3.99 a month, but that's RuPaul, and RuPaul is just, I don't know, he's created a whole industry, hasn't he?
Yeah. Is that where you're watching the Spanish version that you were talking about?
Yeah. España.
Worlds of Wonder.
Project Runway España.
España.
Y no cades.
I watched the first episode, and it's different. The vibe is so different. I don't know if it's because it's in Spanish or because I understand it differently. I don't know. It just seems the vibe is different. But then again, the other countries like Australia and the British version and the Canadian version, each one of them has their own feel, if that makes sense.
I even watched the ones with the German and Dutch languages. I watch them all. Yeah, I love drag queens. I think they're fantastic.
I didn't know there's a Drag Race Germany.
It's Austria or one of those countries up there. There is, yeah.
That's great. Oh, I'm going to have to look for that. I love that. I live there.
Wow. World of Wonder. I should get a residual or some sort of payment for advertising.
I agree.
RuPaul wouldn't give me a cent. I think he's tight with his money.
Oh, I have no doubt. Even though he just spent like $13 million on revamping the home he bought here in the hills.
Well, there's also the rumors of his partner who's fracking, which is really not good for Earth. But you've heard of those things, right?
Oh yeah, but that's shocking. Wow.
Yeah. Check it out, and correct me if I'm wrong in your next episode.
Yeah, we did some fact checking on what Leo said about RuPaul Charles and his partner, his husband.
And let's hold on that till we get the first drag queen on the show, and then we'll start.
Oh my God, I know. I would love to get Bianca on here. That would be a fun night.
That'd be great, considering we met her twice already.
Yeah, I know. We even have pictures with her.
Michael Moran is upset because his work is cutting into watching us. Well, get another job, Michael. Tell me you need to get up early.
Easy. It's easy. Just get another job. Everyone's quitting your job.
You need to get up early. There was a pretty indie movie on Netflix about drag in Cuba. Yes, we watched it.
Yeah.
Revolution Rent. If you have not seen it, it's.
I think Netflix. He's talking about something different.
Oh, it was called Viva?
Oh, Viva. I haven't seen it.
Oh, an indie movie. Okay, no, we watched there was a documentary on Rent.
The production,
that they took to Cuba and did in Spanish. It was the first Broadway production in 50 years. It's an excellent documentary. We talked about it here on the show several weeks ago. But we'll have to check that out. Viva, we'll check it out. Yeah, for any of you, if you guys have any suggestions of what we should watch, we do take them seriously. We do watch them, pay attention, and that kind of saved us most of last year when we were asking for suggestions. And Michael Moran gives a lot of suggestions. So
he does.
He does. We should have him on.
By the way, Infinite, the movie I was talking about, is available on Amazon Prime Video. I forgot to say that.
And then for those of you who want to watch replays of the Olympics, they're on Peacock. So you can go to Peacock and
they're on Peacock, and honestly, you can go to YouTube and literally cherry pick what you want to watch from the Olympics. And what I love is it's literally like just the highlights, not the whole 3 hours of in between stuff.
Latin American History for Morons, Netflix. True, you can find just about anything on Netflix. What are some of your other favorite things to watch, Leo?
Oh, this is an old series, but it's called Vikings, and it is like 6 seasons, and it's fierce. I love the way those Vikings thought back then. They were bloodletters. They human sacrifices. It's a fantastic series that's based on historical characters. So that's one of my favorites. there's a couple of, there's one on Apple called, it's about soccer in Britain, and this American goes and takes it over. I've been watching it. I don't know why that escapes me. Good question. But those are a couple.
Is that Lasso or Lasso?
Right. That's what
Lasso.
Lasso. Yeah.
That's a brand new series.
And then Hack. It's a story about a comedian in Las Vegas.
Yes, we love that.
Oh, you do? Yeah, that's great.
I guess it's coming back because they didn't really finish the season, but
it's back. They have 2 new episodes up now. Yeah.
Well, did you know, and I haven't seen the episode yet, but there's supposed to be an episode where there's a funeral? I don't know if it's aired yet or not.
Oh, her father dies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a little trivia for y'all. In that episode,
I saw it, yeah.
Was shot after Jean Smart's husband actually died. And they shot that episode after her real life husband died. So she was like, and she says in the interview how therapeutic it was to be able to laugh and play it out, so she could actually let all the, we were talking about mental health earlier. She was able to like work through it on screen for everybody to watch, and everybody was like how amazing she was at that scene. So I haven't seen it, so I want to go watch it now so that I can.
Yeah,
she shot it after her husband died.
That's why there was the break in the episodes, because of her real life issues that came up, that her husband's death. That's why there's that little break, because I was like, I know the season's not done yet. So
yeah,
it is so well written, and she's such an amazing actress.
She's the other show that Christian got me into. We talked about it here a while back. Is Evil. I finished watching Evil one episode before the season ended, and then they brought it back for a second season, and it is so good. Like because they went from, did they go from CBS to?
Well, they went to Paramount Plus.
They went to streaming, yeah, right. Yeah. So I just think when shows go to stream, it just gets so much juicier. Like,
well, because they don't have the censors anymore. They can get away with a lot more cussing and a lot more extreme situations.
So here are some shows for y'all to watch in case you didn't. Speaking of shows to watch, in case you didn't know, we've got more shows here on the air at Go to Mexico Productions Inc. So make sure you check us out here on Wednesdays. It's the Christian and Daniel Show. On Fridays, it's the Card Devo. And on Saturdays, we have Put It Together Conversations with 2 episodes at noon and 5. And with extra special shows thrown in there somewhere in the middle. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor. Scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever a new show is posted. Because I'm also on TikTok, and if you're not following me on TikTok, you should. Every morning from 9 to 10, Monday to Friday, is Breakfast with the Comadres. So check it out. We do card readings, we chit-chat, and we talk about stuff. So come and join us. Also, as I talk about every time, my here's Scrumpy Bunny in the Comics Game. You can find it any of these 5 book outlets. Written by me, illustrated by Jennifer and Vivian Gatch. Thank you, Bunny 17 Media. That's my publisher for that. We have about 6 minutes left. Anything else you want to tell us about, Leo?
No. I mean, I'm happy to be here. Thank you all. If you want to know about my film, it's at earthbyleo.com, EARTH by Leo.com. And then my site has a lot of information, leogarcia.com. And then I also have a visual art. I'm a visual artist too, and I did a show called My Alien Abduction. You can see that show on myalienabduction.net. So there, once you get all that done, you'll know more about me, and I do appreciate being able to share. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's been a pleasure having you.
I love
what we talked about today. I love how I love this show because it's not planned. It's not, oh, we're going to talk about this today and hard-hitting issues and 3 big facts. And I love how it goes.
We still have about 4 minutes, so keep talking, guys.
Oh, great.
I thought you were saying something, Daniel, but apparently not. As
Yeah,
usual.
I am doing some technical behind-the-scenes things here.
Yeah, but you're not behind the scenes. You're in front of the camera.
But you're not supposed to know that.
Yeah, because we see you.
Just like nobody saw what you were doing off camera.
Yeah, and that's because I knew we're off camera. Hello. But it was great to hear you break. It was great to hear you break. I knew I wanted you to break, and you did. I love it. EarthByLeo.com. Yay.
It's not normal that something catches me off guard. I can usually keep it pretty cool. But
it was
yeah.
good.
So anybody here, there is the website, EarthByLeo.com.
And I am totally going to go see my alienabduction.net. I'm going to go watch
myalienabduction.net. Yeah, that's I worked with this great woman who, as we would write, we would have to access our imagination and we would draw whatever it was coming to us. So I learned to, I've always been a drawer, but I learned to kind of develop that skill. And then when I got online, I learned how to do digital art just by doing it again and again and again and again and again, which is what I did a lot of during the pandemic too. I drew. And that show was a show that happened actually about 4 years ago, I think. So, it's exciting to be able to learn skills, even as you get older. I encourage you, just keep going at it, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, were you doing this on Illustrator, like Adobe Illustrator? And
I actually started on Photoshop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, yeah. And then what I do is I photograph like drawings that I have or things, and then I create these compositions. And then, as you'll see on that site, myalienabduction.net, they become their own universe. And I have a whole series of works called The Abduction of Hernan Cortez, which is a series of works that follow the lives of these 5 New Mexican families from 1598 to present time. So it deals with themes of abduction of land, abduction of self, and alien abduction. And they're all based on truth. So this film, that Earth by Leo, is one of the takes place in 1911. I have a play that takes place in 1986 that's called Dogs. myalienabduction.net, that work came out from one of the characters who was an artist. So then he developed this work, and then we created a site for it.
Wow.
So it's got like all these
That's really
different ways to relate to the same story, but they all go back to these 5 New Mexican families that lived from 1598 to present time. There's one piece about this one person who's in that family that goes back 113 generations and is the son of Seth, who is Adam's son. So that it follows a family tree all the way back to being a son of Seth.
the beginning.
That means if he's the son of Seth, he's the son of Adam, who is the son of God.
Yeah.
So, and that just has to do, these are all sort of commentaries on these ideas of how things reoccur again and again and again, or, how in families things come back again and again and again, and then how far you can go in this real world that started supposedly, with Adam and Eve. That's one world. But of course, there were other civilizations before then. So it's kind of a mythical story. And the ideas of all of my work are around myth, which is what everything is. It's a story that we tell. And the more we tell it, the more mythical it becomes.
Wow. That is really cool.
There a little bit of all. I don't do comedy, but there is humor in the plays. And there is some horror in this picture that we're doing now, The Monster of Tierra Amarilla. There are monsters in it because it takes place in 1911 when the first Frankenstein movie was made. And it kind of compares it was made in the Edison Studios in 1911 in New York, or in the East. And this is in the West, which is rural, but they still have the same ideas, but in these different worlds. And so this one doctor experiments on the locals. And at one point, that's why this one man in the play is 6'8" and has the heart the size of a baby's head inside of his chest. And then he makes a deal with this woman to take care of her husband, but she has to participate in his experiments. So there is some horror, yes, especially in this last film. And then I shot a film called Excess Flesh, which is about body horror. So if you go to Excess Flesh, the movie, you'll see that film, which deals with horror. And that's available on different platforms.
Well, for everybody watching it, we're working on having Leo come on, putting together conversations so he can tell us about all his work. He's got a lot. Yeah, no, the time that we got a chance to visit and talk to each other, there was a whole lot of information. I was like, you've got to come. But this time we cheated. Instead of having him put it together first, we had him on the Christian and Daniel show first. So
you got to do the fun show first.
Yeah, the fun show. But we're out of time, folks. For everybody watching, this has been the Christian and Daniel show. Leo, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For everybody watching, this is the Christian and Daniel show. Remember, we're here every Wednesday. We hope to see you back here next week. Bye, folks.